everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Christopher David Lawson of NEPA, CDL NEPA. Today we're going to be installing these new bars and grips that I got from Temu, which I did a video for those a couple weeks ago. This is really cheap stuff that you can get off of Temu, but we're going to be installing this on my Hawk DLX, also known as Yo Mama. Let's go ahead and roll the video. This is going to be a quick one.
You think you know me?
Alright, like I said, folks, I'm going to try to make this video really quickly. This is actually a pretty simple job, but basically I'm going to be replacing the stock handlebars. These stock handlebars, when I bought the bike, this was a refurbished bike, more or less. They didn't really refurbish anything, but I ended up doing all the refurbishing, but that's another story from a past video. But the handlebars are already bent, and basically to start off this job, put the new handlebars on, put the new old parts back on from the handlebars. But enough rambling. First thing I'm going to do is going to go ahead and take my windshield off. Folks, I got those off. For this next part, this is where it's going to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to go ahead and start taking this apart now. What I want to do first, I want to cut the old grips off while I still have these handlebars attached. My plan is basically get everything loose enough, and I'm going to switch it right to the other handlebars. But first, while it's still attached, I want to cut these grips off with a razor knife. Let's start cutting. A nice sharp knife will actually cut this really easily, so I just do not want to damage my throttle sleeve because that'll put me behind and I'll have to order a new one. But that came off extremely easy, folks. These things cut really easy, I'm telling you. This is no effort at all with a brand new knife blade. In fact, I don't even think they glued these things at the factory. Not sure how they were staying on there, but I did scratch the handlebar a little bit, but I don't plan on using these bars again. So before I take these bars off, I'm going to go ahead and start loosening up all the fasteners on this part here, like all my controls, my brake levers, everything. Get them loosened up, and then what I'll do is leave them on here and move the handlebars out of the way. Then I'll put the new handlebars in position real loosely and swap everything over as easy as I can. Alright, I got everything loosened up the best I could. I tried not to take any of the screws or anything all the way out. I did on one of the screws for the throttle, and I did on both of the screws actually for the lights and the horn switch, just because they wouldn't move on their own. But now I'm going to go ahead and take these bars off and put the new bars on there, which I actually have 2-inch risers on here, so this job's a little bit more complicated than on a normal chonda. So there's a little bit more going on here than just the screws that are holding the handlebars on. Alright, we got the top ones off. The hardware still looks good. See, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated because shit starts sliding around with these spacers. But actually what I'll do, I think maybe I'll drop these back in there just to hold them in the place long enough for me to get the other bars in position. Might make it a little easier for me to swap the other bars over, especially since all the weight's on the stock handlebars right now. There. Move them out of the way for a minute. Hopefully we don't lose any parts while we're sitting here trying to swap over. You might hear some foul language. Alright. This bar's over. Yeah, this part is a little bit more work with the spacers, but it probably would be easier if I didn't have the spacers, but like I said, I need them on here. Alright, it was a little easier for me to take the spacers off the bike just to get one side started at least. Kind of hold the bars into position while I'm trying to do the other side really loosely. Like I said, if you don't have spacers on there, you probably could have moved on to the next part of the video by now. But I do recommend, if you're taller, to have the spacers. There. Always remember the top cap. You kind of need that to hold the handlebars on. But all right, we'll get these situated, and then we'll go on to swapping all the parts over to the new bars. All right, folks, now what I'm going to do is basically start from the outside, start sliding everything off the best I can. I'll probably have to pick up the handlebars and move them a little bit. But, of course, you assemble the opposite of taking everything off. But I'm sure you figured that out already. Trying to do this the best I can without hopefully breaking anything. Keep the handlebars a little loose. Hopefully I can slide everything over and get everything to slide right back on there. Maybe not. Trying to do this with the least amount of disassemble as possible. No disassemble number 5. But yeah, I guess I'll have to loosen those up. I was wrong on this. But you're doing this as I'm doing it. So, all right, folks, it was definitely easier for me just to take everything off the handlebars, unfortunately. I tried, but I'm going to go ahead and get everything back on there. For this next part, folks, when I was working on the throttle side, I actually had to push the bars down. I couldn't get the kill switch off without actually taking the throttle grip off, because the way they did the wiring and around the bars and whatever. So I'm going ahead, I just tilted the bars forward a little bit so I could get those on there, and now I can start tightening some of that up. And I'm going to clean the inside of the throttle tube out a little bit too. This one's got a little nick on the side. This bike, I think, was dropped before I got it, so this next part, folks, is going to be just a matter of getting the bars up into the position you want to do them and getting everything tightened down. But there is going to be one step that we have to do, and I'll show you that in a minute. This switch actually has a little nub on it that holds it to the handlebar as well as the screws. So I'm going to have to drill a tiny little hole before I finally permanently mount this part. But before I do that, I want to get the handlebars into the position that I want them in. So I'm pretty sure this looks like a good spot for them. Get everything tightened down. Like I said, you're going to have to drill a little hole. And these are aluminum bars, so that shouldn't be really that hard to do. So, and of course, we always adjust according to where we want them. Make sure you adjust everything evenly. I'm going to go ahead and do that now, and then basically, like I said, all I'm doing is getting everything lined up where I want it. All right, folks, this is the part I'm talking about here. Now, what I did is I marked where the grip is going to go lengthwise, basically where it's going to stop, and we're going to have to get this into position as close as we can to where it's going to go. And like I said, there's a little nodule on the inside of where the mount actually goes on the handlebar, so I'll have to get as close as I can, drill a little hole for that with my drill, and of course I already have it marked for the grip. I'm going to mark it for the hole, and it's a piece of cake. The bars are already clamped down. We know where it's going to go, so just a matter of lining up and get it into position and drill the hole. I started off with a little bit smaller drill bit, of course, to start off, and I went with a bigger drill bit. I didn't go all the way through with the bigger drill bit because basically all we needed is a little bit of a notch for the nodule to grab onto. All right, everybody, we're getting down to the final touches. This is the best part, I think. Get to put our new grips on. Yes, I got orange. Unfortunately, that's all they had at the time, but I wanted to get them so I could get this job done. So I got these JFG Racing, like I said, on Temu. Of course, it's easy to tell the difference between the two sides, and I'm also using the Pro Taper Instant Grip Glue. Before I do the glue, though, I'm going to go ahead and take an alcohol pad and clean up both ends of the bar, so that way the glue sticks a lot easier. This stuff we have to work with really quickly. This is supposed to set up in seconds, this Pro Taper Instant Grip Glue. What they recommended is to put a little bit of glue on top and then put some generously in the end. I am not going to cut a hole in this because I'm going to wait until I get the new hardware or new guards for the bike. I might get another set. I don't know. I might go with the red set. We'll see. But they said put quite a bit of glue on the inside. They said this stuff sets up pretty quickly, so I'll put a little bit on here too. Make sure we get a good amount. But I don't want to push it all the way inside either, because I don't want to have glue all over where you can actually see it. So we'll go ahead and start working on getting this on there now as quickly as possible with the logo already on there. I'm actually going to twist it so it works its way around a little bit. That way, once I get to the end, I'll actually grab a rag and wipe some of this off because it is pushing. It is already starting to grab, folks. So I got to hurry up and get that on the rest of this side. Make sure there's no holes or anything on your grip side, of course, because you don't want to actually glue in the grip or your throttle to the handlebars. That'd be weird. But put a generous amount on there because this is definitely going to be getting torqued on in there pretty good. Try to get some more glue down in there toward the end so it doesn't move on me. Trying to get it on there. Hopefully, there. Get it in position. Hopefully, there we go. Twist it a little bit, try to get it to work the glue all the way around, and I believe I got it. Get the grip into position as quickly as you can. Now I just let it harden for a little bit and should be ready to go. Right, folks, I didn't put the windshield on yet. Wanted to give you one more look at the bars before I finish off this job. Looks good. Always helps to have handlebars that are actually straight. I just have to go through and tighten everything down pretty good. Of course, here's the last time you'll be able to see this side because I'll have my windshield on, but I do like these grips. I like the way the bars look. Like I said, I just have to get some new hardware for my hand guards, or maybe just a set of hand guards that don't involve screwing into the end of the handlebar. Alright everybody, thanks for tuning into my video. Hopefully this is a quick video. Everything, like I said, these handlebars and grips and everything came off of Temu. Check it out. It's a cheap option for parts if you don't want to spend a lot of money on a bike that's actually a cheap motorcycle. Thanks for tuning in. More videos coming up. Bye for now.